Have you ever wondered where Bitcoin comes from? So it's not printed like dollars, it's actually mined. But when we say mined, we're not talking about shovels and pickaxes. It's mined with computing power. Okay, so in this short stack, we're going to break down for you how mining works and why that matters. So, what is Bitcoin mining? One way to think about it is it's like a big global lottery where computers are guessing a winning number, and the first one to guess it right gets new Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's a really easy way to think about Bitcoin mining, like a global lottery. Those computers are trying to solve a math puzzle or a cryptographic puzzle, to use the big word. And it's so hard, the only way to solve it is just to guess. Just guess. So these computers are guessing like billions of times a second. Just, does this number work? No. Does this number work? No. Does this number work? And when that computer finds the right number, they win, they get the Bitcoin. I've got my little bit axe at home. It cost me $200. And I think the last time I did the math, I'm basically buying about 60 lottery tickets every 10-minute block.
Okay.
So every 10 minutes, my little dinghy of a miner is making 60 guesses at what the block is. Meanwhile, somebody out there has the mecha super insanity computer that's making billions or even trillions of guesses every 10 seconds. And of course, it's much more likely that they're going to solve the block before I do. But this Bitcoin lottery, like Bitcoin, is fair for everyone participating. So that means I have a chance. And one day, if I wake up and my little bit axe managed to guess the right number before anybody else, well, I'm going to get some Bitcoin. So a lot of people will come on the show. They want to know, how does mining work? And we say, look, it's a big old lottery. And our guests say, yeah, but literally, how does it work? Literally, how does it work? And I will talk about that a little bit right now. So here's how Bitcoin mining literally works. There is a pool of transactions. Well, somebody needs to pick up these transactions and do the work of verifying them and getting them committed to the blockchain. Well, that's going to be a miner. So miners are going to grab some transactions. Okay.
That have already happened, or that are pending.
They're
right?
pending. Yeah.
Pending transactions.
Yeah. They're in a pool, and it's called the mem pool. They're in a pool. So all of your Bitcoin transactions go into a pool where they wait to be processed by a miner. Okay. So a miner is going to grab some transactions. That transaction, that's data. Okay. So it's address A to address B.
Quantity.
With this much Bitcoin sent at this time, it's address D to address. It's data, okay?
Yep.
Now, there's something called hashing. And what that means is you're going to take this data and you're going to put it through a SHA-256 protocol that basically creates a secure string out of all this data right here. You kind of smush it through this hashing process, and you get a single string that is unique.
It's kind of like a serial number, or maybe you could even think about it as like a website, right? Or a URL that is clickable, that contains all the data, right?
Yeah, it's almost like a computer could understand what that hash data means, but they wouldn't be able to recreate that hash. They wouldn't be able to reverse engineer it. So it's kind of like a one-way street.
Okay.
You're taking your data down a one-way street that takes it from data anybody could replicate. Anybody can copy paste to something that people cannot recreate. So if you watch number 26, Freddie, his cybersecurity background, he does a great job of explaining to us that hashing is like creating a unique fingerprint for something that is digital. Okay. So when you hash this data, it creates a unique value. Cool. Well, Bitcoin wants a specific unique value in order to solve the block. Your hash needs to have a certain number of zeros at the very beginning in order to qualify for the difficulty level. What does this mean? It means that miners take this data and they'll just add a number to it and they'll hash it. So they'll take all this data, they'll put a 1, hash it. Is this the right number? No? Okay. Data 2, hash it. Is this the right number? No. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 100,000, 1 million, 2 billion. They're taking that data, they're adding a number to it called a nonce, and then they're hashing it to see if they get the right number. So again, nobody has the answer to the block. Everybody just has to guess.
Guess and
right?
guess and guess and guess and guess and guess a quadrillion, 100 bajillion times.
Yes. So you're taking the transaction data, you're adding one number to it, you're putting it through the machine. Did I get the right number? No, you didn't. Okay. Get the transaction data, add a different number to it, put it through the machine. And you're going absolutely as hard as you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
That's how mining literally works. Now, once you get the right number, you go, oh, I got it. And you broadcast to the network that you got it, right? You send it out to all these nodes and say, hey, I solved it. And they'll check your work and say, yep, you solved it. You solved it first. And that block starts to propagate. And that's how you win. You get your mining block reward as a result, which right now is 3.125 Bitcoin plus all the transaction fees. And what Bitcoin mining does is it creates work for the people who are mining it. And that means that a government or a corporation or a wealthy individual can't come along and create an unfair advantage for himself or themselves.
Yep. Because if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth anything.
So Bitcoin's proof of work and really Bitcoin mining helps to secure Bitcoin, because with so many computers coming online to scratch off their lottery tickets, it becomes more difficult for someone to bring their computers online to try to fake transactions, to try to add fake blocks, right? You get to a point, and we've already reached a point where it's just easier to try to win the lottery than it is to try to game the system or, scam the lottery.
Mm-hmm.
So to kind of recap for you all, how does Bitcoin mining work? Well, it works like a big old lottery. You get your computer online, you point it at the network, you let it loose, and it's just going to try to guess the right number for these blocks. But how it actually literally works for people who are curious is you take this block of transactional data, you add a number, you send it through this SHA-256 hashing process. It creates a unique string of information that's like a fingerprint, and you hope it's the right one. And if it's not, you go back to the same block, you add a different number, you try again. But you just do it a whole bunch with your computing power.
That's great.
And it's important because mining means that you have to work for Bitcoin.
Yep.
I have to work for Bitcoin. He has to work for Bitcoin. They have to work for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is fair and just. You cannot get yourself an edge in Bitcoin without doing the work.
Yep. So the next time someone asks you, what's Bitcoin backed by? It's not backed by anything. It's backed by hard work. It's backed by computing power. It's backed by math. It's backed by energy, the energy that it takes to generate that computing power. So that's it for today's SatChats short stack. I'm your host, Chris.
I'm your co-host, Stuart. And remember, SatChats short stacks is for educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice. See you guys on the next one.